It's a brand new week on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Folabi Brand as always. I have the beautiful ladies here. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Mariah.
Jim's in the building.
Yo, yo, yo.
Nice hairstyle. Welcome back.
Thank you very kindly. We're
Fans
back.
missed you.
Yes, so I know, but there's been peace in Nigeria, in the last 10 days.
Oh, they have.
But
How was your break, though?
fantastic. I realized that 21 years on TV, on and off, Your View was the first time in 5 years straight, that I was on TV without taking a break at all. In fact, when I was in the university, my 4 years on TV, it was a recorded program, so I used to, go record. But when I realized, hold on, no, even our president goes on holiday, Jumoke, why won't you go on holiday?
Yeah, I'm worried now. Decided to go around the same time.
At the same time. But it's great to be back.
You look rested.
Yes,
Your
well
skin is
rested.
very clear.
And I do have an event today, so I said to myself, well, if I'm going to be attending an event, let me just resume. The civil society organization, we're having a seminar discussing good leadership and social responsibility. So
I saw the poster.
Oh, there was an event on SARS thingy. Did you guys go at all?
Which one?
Musan Center. I think I invited you guys. Somebody
the
mentioned
SARS, it wasn't this last Saturday, it was the upper one.
Oh.
It was the upper one.
But you didn't go. Right? How are you doing, Nima?
Not with this traffic, but what a weekend I had yesterday. It was my niece's 7th birthday. It was an opportunity for all of us to gather at home. And within family, hijab down, dancing. Hey, we danced and enjoyed ourselves.
I'd like to say it again. Say it again. Wait, just say it again.
I said I danced.
No. You removed your hijab.
Yes, hijab down is within family.
They danced.
Within
like to see Nima
within my
dance,
family
really.
members, my in-laws, my sister-in-laws. It was really nice.
That's
I
good.
enjoyed myself. And we're in the fast. Today is Arafat Day, fasting. I fasted yesterday as well, but I didn't know where I got the energy from.
So it's the day before Salah that is Arafat Day.
Yes, every day before the Eid al-Adha, that's the big Salah where we do the ram. So once you're coming down from the Arafat, they slaughter as part of the rituals of.
Yeah, I've not received my ram. Usually I get ram. I don't know. This person, you know
This one you're
yourself. You always send us
announcing.
ram.
They'll send ram.
You know
All these
yourself.
people that give Moriah ram, the Muslim
You know
we
yourself.
have ram
you
issues.
send us ram every
We all
year.
eat
We have not
rams.
seen any
We
rams.
have ram issues. So they
already
should just
there
send
before.
it. For the
My own
people-
mother
it's very
don't receive a
expensive now.
alarm like since last week or so.
Wow.
That's her man is.
Will come today.
So for those of us who have been in the fasting mode, may Allah reward us as well as He is rewarding the people in Hajj with the rewards of Hajj.
Great. How are you doing over here, Jolo? How was your weekend?
It was a morning weekend.
What
for
happened?
us. My brother-in-law is getting married on Saturday, this coming Saturday. The bride-to-be lost her mother on Thursday.
Oh, yikes.
She's been weeping, yes, this Saturday. She's been weeping
my
and weeping.
goodness.
It hasn't been easy. We don't even know if we can proceed with the wedding because everything has been bought, money has been spent and all of that. So we're
my
still,
Lord.
hoping the family will let us know
Devastating.
this week what's going to happen. Because people have already
going to be
come
easy.
from the east and everybody's ready for the wedding.
Oh, my Lord.
I just
That's
feel for the poor
devastating
girl.
News. It's really, really devastating.
Hello.
Oh,
I don't even know what to say. Cook palemo.
No,
I don't even understand any of this. What does that mean?
Just,
that's
just greeting you, Sha.
greeting.
Look, Yoruba expressions are not translatable like that.
Why are you warning me
Just
this
say
morning?
thank you.
English
Just say thank you.
Just say, oh.
Mariah, how was your weekend?
It was nice, actually. Saturday was great. I went out with the kids and the family. Yesterday was also good. I mean, it was a nice, calm weekend. No drama, no parties, nothing. It was just, people always assume they're always going to party. And it's not so, honestly. Anyway, our news mention is in the papers. So my take it on the papers, the Lagos State government has said that the Third Mainland Bridge will be temporarily shut for 4 days, starting from midnight, August 23rd. That's Thursday. So please plan not to go anywhere between Thursday and Saturday on weekend. Just stay put wherever you are. Okay, we're going to go on a quick break now. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Okay, thanks for staying with us. We're going to start very quickly with the Punch. 2019 polls budget. Saraki attacks executive, says it lacks foresight. Senate President driving Nigeria to the cliff edge, says presidency. Picture here of outrage as Oyo demolishes IFLS 800 million naira radio station studio. Ekweremadu, APC using EFCC ICPC against opposition. 3,000 have died in Zamfara attack, says SSG. Senior Senator demands audit of National Assembly budget under Saraki. Government to shut Third Mainland Bridge from August 23rd to 26th. 13 states set to adopt new mortgage law. And why Saraki Tambuwal left APC, says Tinubu. Right,
IFL's story seems
pretty.
like the human interest story.
Major story across
Yeah.
board. Well, should we take it in another paper? Because
Okay.
there's this Zamfara story that I think
Yes,
somebody
I have
wanna talk
that
about.
story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the secretary to the Zamfara state government, they had a town hall meeting on Sunday organized by the NBA. And they are saying that the government have spent over 17 billion to quell the crisis. You know, the crisis we started initially as the herdsmen and farmers, now graduated into bandits, armed men coming to kill. So they've lost over 3,000 lives, 2,000 houses destroyed, 500 people kidnapped for ransom. And then the state government has put in 17 billion buying properties, buying vehicles for the security officials to make sure that they can do their work well. The money that they would have used
for the Nigerian police.
Police, yes. The money that they would have used to, you know, provide infrastructure for the government. So they are saying that the federal government should use funds for that and not the state government.
Okay, let's
So
move
are
on.
they asking for a refund from the federal
They
government?
should
Yeah, they
discuss
should
it. Some
discuss
states have gotten
Let's
refunds.
move on now to the nation. Tinubu says Saraki Tambuwal left APC for fear of Buhari. Picture here again, as I said, the IFLS story is all over the papers. INEC, Wike disagree over Rivers by-election. Paris Club refund ex-bank MD Saraki's aid for trial. And 79,000 Nigerians amongst 2 million pilgrims as Hajj rites begin. Let's talk about IFL now so that we can knock it off.
Over the weekend, 4:30 a.m. actually on Sunday, yesterday, the Oyo State government started demolition of the music house, which is Fresh FM in Ibadan, owned by musician Ayefele. The government said his building contradicts building approval. He had been sent a warning by June. Ayefele's response was that when they sent him a notice, he went to court, and that the next date in court is supposed to be today, August 20th. And so why would they come to pull down his building worth 800 million naira, and they had some equipment over 20 million naira demolished in the building?
Imagine that.
So the government side of the story is from Toye Arologun, that's the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism in Oyo State, was that IFL wasn't being witch hunted. It was a routine. Other buildings around, even the University of Ibadan, had gotten notices for taking extra meters against their building. Banks, ATM extensions have also been given the notice, and they're also going to be demolished. Now, in his comments, he also said IFL only got approval for an office building, which means that building was approved. So there's an approval for what was built there. What they did not approve was the operation of a radio station in that place, which is why I have issues with the
But there's
comments.
always room for dialogue, because we also see that there was a letter recently in July 18th concerning the fact that there was some program saying we've been libelous against the governor. The governor,
yes, they said he made a comment that was libelous against the governor, and the governor requested a letter of apology. An apology, a rejoinder, as well as 500 million naira damages, which could have been settled. Those are issues that can be mediated. So you don't just go into a building and demolish it. This is, for me, an obvious witch hunt. I looked at all the notices, and they didn't even give him enough time. They went straight. Even though he had gone to court to get an ex parte injunction to stop this, they still went ahead and demolished.
And then
now,
if you want to pull down the building, can you allow them even to take out their
IFL's
equipment?
radio license is not under Oyo State.
I wanted to say that.
There's NBC for that.
Even the IFLS staff was saying that they got a letter, they tried to get NBC involved, and then they found them that they were compliant, that there's nothing wrong with
and there's a video. When the governor visited IFLS radio station some months back, he complimented the state-of-the-art equipment there, and you know the fact that they were complying with all building structures. So once you are upset with a news, talk, do something else about it.
How do you-
Exhaust all possible means than demolition. This is an investment.
move on.
History of the governor with Lautech students, also with the Olubadan.
Right.
And so when people start to say witch hunt, Oga,
Okay, this is actually,
Precedence.
hopefully we'll see how this pans out during the week, because we can actually make it a hot topic sometime this week. We'll see how that goes. Moving on very quickly now to Daily Sun. Why Saraki Tambuwal left APC by Tinubu. Aborted by elections, police have declared war on Rivers. Outrage in Ibadan over demolition of Ayefele's music house. Jail threats to looters. Start with your party men, PDP tells Buhari. So Tinubu was saying that Saraki and Tambuwal are leaving, obviously because of the direct
for
Because
different
they
things.
cannot
One
get
of them is straight ticket. What do they call that thing? Something ticket.
Straight ticket now to contest so that,
yes.
they don't have primaries for them.
Automatic
And
tickets.
automatic
Yeah.
tickets.
Right. Thank you, Mariah.
So they don't have primaries for them. And also that, they are afraid of the personality of the president. In other
But you have to
areas.
remember that this thing that Oshomole insisted on direct primaries actually
Not going to
sent
work.
chills down a lot of people, politicians, too, because now every card-carrying member of the party gets to vote. Determines who becomes the candidate. And that can be scary.
Every pro has a corner, because it means that if you are rich enough to just have every voter
Background.
under
you.
That's it. That's automatic tickets already.
Okay, let's move on to Vanguard. Defections, Tinubu Tambuwal Tango, or your government pulls down Yinka Ayefele's music house. Talked about that. I'm sure this story is going to develop next few days. So we might talk about it sometime this week.
Particularly because their hearing in court is today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be today. Police confirm killing of Catholic priest in Abuja. 252 aides dumped Tambuwal. They were sacked for disloyalty, says Sokoto government. INEC budget, presidency, Saraki, APC, PDP trade words. All right, let's talk about the Catholic priest in Abuja.
So
What's
I
that
have
story?
the Catholic priest who worked as an assistant parish priest at Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Parish, Dobi, in Gwagwalada, Abuja, was found dead. He was shot while he went to shop in a supermarket mall. And the police have confirmed the story. They are still looking for, they haven't found unidentified gunmen, so they are still at large, and we hope that something is done about it.
The PDP saying to APC that, once the president came back, he said that he's going to still jail thieves. And so the PDP saying to the APC, just start from your house. First, Babache Lawal, and then Oshomole, and then we will hear. But then the APC responded immediately to also say, the president is not going to shield any political thieves in the APC.
Okay,
We are
moving on
watching,
to
we're
Nigerian
hoping.
Tribune. Governors APC at loggerheads over direct primaries. Outrage over your government's demolition. We talked about that already. Motorists stranded on Lagos-Ibadan Highway for hours. Third Mainland Bridge will start shut down for 4 days. How gun runner policemen fueling herdsmen farmers crisis were arrested by army. Saraki Tambuwal left APC because they wanted automatic tickets.
I wanted to talk about that gun runner policeman who was selling ammunition to terrorists. Now, he did not know that Sani, one of their leaders, had been arrested. He was trying to sell, ammunition to him and then was arrested, meaning that we're actually using government equipment, weapons,
to terrorize ourselves.
Can you imagine? But we're happy, for the investigation and the arrest. We must commend the police when they do well.
They're doing well.
All right, we need to move on quickly to the New Telegraph, although we can't take it, any stories. 2019, Tinubu bombed Saraki Tambuwal. And picture here again of Ayefele. That's a woman stripped herself. The head she was making, she was cursing. Even if you're going to put down anything, see, there's a Yoruba factor to this thing. Somebody who, how
a lot of
many,
people have lost
how
their
many,
jobs.
handicapped people
Ayefele
could achieve what Ayefele has achieved.
He could use his disability and start to beg, but he empowered himself and employed people.
200.
The part of this that you shouldn't even go that far.
Should have exhausted all.
They exhausted all options. But you know what? We'll see how it goes, because this is totally unfair. All right, well, that's what many people say, not my opinion.
That's my opinion.
My opinion. People say it's unfair, but we'll see what the law says.
Very, very
Let's go on a break. Now we come back. Are you having issues with our roads? Those who live in Apapa, Oshodi. Are you having issues with power? Are you having issues with housing? Don't worry. The Oga at the top concerning the Mara is here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is the Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome,
So
sir.
you can join the conversation. Yes, you can join the conversation on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, I'd like us to start the conversation on the roads because, I mean, Nima is here every day. She's complaining about the Apapa Oshodi Expressway. We thought there were issues. We thought there'll be some kind of rectifying approach because Dangote was coming to help us fix it, and now the tankers have totally packed
Everywhere.
What is the status of that Apapa Oshodi Expressway?
The status is that we have approved the award for its construction from the Creek Road right through to Owurun Shoki Road. It's been awarded.
Okay.
Now, what viewers might like to know is that governmental work also has process. So from the award, I think about 3 or so weeks ago, contract documents now have to be signed to ensure that if there are disputes in future and so on and so forth, rules of engagement for resolving those disputes, because disputes do happen during contract implementation.
It is preempted.
We expect that work would start in a matter of weeks.
Okay.
It's gone to the Dangote Group, as I told you. It took some time because of the nature of the procurement. It's a tax credit policy that government has used to finance it. It cost, I think, about 72 billion naira. I'm talking to the Dangote Group, and they're going to use, I think, 3 or 4 contractors so that they break it up into sections and we can quickly deal with it.
Pending when work starts, what is the alternative for residents living around that area? Because as I speak to you, for the past 3 weeks, starting from Sele, there's a lockdown. So there's only one active lane. And, you know, because the government looked into it, Lagos State government looked into it, sometimes in the past, we just had security officials, policemen, a joint task force clearing traffic, so it was a bit easy. But it happened again. And they came back, the trucks came back in, taking 2-3 lanes. So residents are, on Friday, it took me 2 hours between Sele and Second Rainbow. 2 hours. And the alternative, which is Ijesha, ABC, Amodofin commercial lane, should have been taking care of the road. Is terrible. Another alternative, Okota, is terrible into Festac, Apple Junction. So they should have put those alternatives in place so that people have, you know, other ways of getting out. But there's always one way now, which is the only alternative, and accidents are happening. We're losing lives.
Look, let me say that first I apologize and sympathize with commuters. But the interesting thing as you were speaking is that I am also a citizen. I live in Surulere, and the traffic also affects me.
Okay.
Okay, I was in traffic for like 2 hours on my way back from the mainland 3 nights ago.
Is there any solution in sight?
Now, so let's deal with what lies ahead.
Trucks, they can
Let's deal with what lies ahead. But I think it's important to understand how we got here. How we got here. Those roads have been bad for over a decade.
Okay.
But I think what we must all understand is that our nation has grown in population, our economy has grown bigger, our trade volumes are larger, and then government has decided in the public good to start running a port for 24 hours.
Okay. Other ports out.
The port used to close before at 6, so it's now working at night because people are also exporting agro-produce, all of that. Now, when did we build this port? The first port was built, Apapa port was built before 1920. I can't remember exactly the year.
Yes.
The next port expansion did not happen until the 70s. That was when we expanded to Tinkan Island. If you go back into the records, that was the period when we had the cement armada. We were locked down by cement imports. So we were not building for the future, we were building to solve a problem. By the 1970s, there has been no port expansion in Lagos. And that's why we tried to start the Lekki and the Badagry ports during my time. because we have simply outgrown our infrastructure.
Okay, so Mr. Fashola, is there going to be solution?
Now, listen to me, please. Now, I've told you, the road you are talking about, the Apapa-Oshodi road, was built during the port expansion in the 70s. That road didn't exist before. It was to take traffic out of the center of Lagos. And that road has been bad for some time. The activity at the port has increased. Now, what did we meet at the port? A port without scanners. So it takes 3 hours to offload one container, when it should take a few minutes. We just approved the contract for the scanners. So you will get better turnaround in future. We have approved the construction of the road. And as we build out, it should get better.
Okay,
So
obviously,
on the
we
roads,
understand.
Morale, please.
Hang it out. I know, obviously, I'm glad that you have an idea of where we're coming from and where we're heading to. But I think what the people want to know is the immediate
I'm talking
solution.
about the
Meaning that
immediate things.
I mean, part of the immediacy of people are thinking is
Clear
clearing
the
the
tankers.
trucks.
To where?
Where can they go?
Now,
do we have space
Morale,
for
may I
them?
build
tell
on that
me where.
question? May I build on it?
Please do.
Because we've left them, they've come into, you know, the Badagry Marina route is being expanded into 10 lanes. And that's a new work. But because of the problems these people, they've extended to that place. As I speak to you now, the people in Satellite Town and Modofin would not forgive me if I do not say the issues that we've been facing. So from you're going to work to Mile 2 in the morning, as early as 6 a.m., from Alakija, it's a lockdown. All the way to Mile 2. I can't get up. We can't get out of our community, God forbid an emergency.
Nima,
the trucks are already extending to
Nima,
that
I think
area.
you should calm down and understand one thing. Traffic management in any state is a municipal matter. It's not a federal matter.
Right.
So I can only deal with the issues as they relate to my responsibility.
Which is
Build the
your
road,
road.
build the road. But I don't manage traffic on the road.
Okay.
But you mentioned now that if there is nowhere to push the trucks to, the traffic managers cannot manage the traffic with
Effectively.
trucks permanently parked on the road.
No. You need to understand, even with trucks parked on the road, if, as it is now, there are times when they stay on a lane and they allow people ease through. There are times when also they get out of lane and they lock down. When that happens, it's a traffic management
I
issue.
wanted you to even explain the Dangote federal government
But because of
arrangement.
time,
You must remember, ladies and gentlemen, apart from the growth in the economy, these roads have been bad.
Yes.
And we didn't have, so instead of really...
didn't have an alternative.
We didn't have this problem.
Let's talk about 3rd Mainland Bridge for a second, because it's going to be closed down on Thursday. What exactly, for 4 days, what are they doing, and exactly, was there going to be a detour or just totally closed down?
Well, as you will see, we were supposed to close it down in July, but the governor asked that we give some time to see if we could, and why we chose July was also because we thought this was a good time to do it. Children
During
are
the
still
holidays,
on holidays,
yes.
so at least the traffic movement will not be as bad as when they come through. And this is because bridge maintenance has been a serious issue. We have, if I recall, about 29 bridges in Lagos. They haven't been maintained for years. The Ijora Bridge was one of them that failed, and we're now trying to build. The maintenance of the 3rd Mainland Bridge started, but they cut the budget and stopped. If you remember, when I was governor, we had it for 3 months, so they could only do a part of it.
portion of it.
Now, we came back and said, look, we can't allow anything to happen to this bridge, so let us complete that work. So it's for the long-term sustainability of the bridge. It will cause some discomfort, I understand, but we need to take these hard decisions in order to maintain infrastructure. What we expect to happen is that by midnight on Thursday night, they want to see, because it's been a while that the plans, you just want to inspect now and see that there has been no material deterioration from what is under contract. So, and that would happen, and we hope that we can finish it. So the real active day will be Friday.
Okay. Let's just stay home on Friday.
The real active day will be Friday. Now, let me say, in terms of alternative, there is a road, Murtala Mohammed Way, through Yaba and through to Lagos Island. Many people don't use that road, partly because I say many people don't. I've discussed with people and they don't know it exists. So you can use that route to get onto the island, turning from Djibouti, if you are familiar with it. And, so if we go through this for a few days, then we would expect that later on, when the road construction at Papa, Ijora, to Mile 2 Oshodi improves, then we can come back and really do.
What's the time frame for the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to complete the project?
The time frame is money. We lost a year last year when the budget was cut, so work stopped.
And I know that
the work we did in 2016 moved the needle ahead, and the road got better.
Is also holding the Badagry Expressway too.
But let me say, let me say also that the president has intervened now, and there's a presidential infrastructure development fund to cover Lagos Ibadan Expressway, second Niger Bridge, Abuja, Kaduna to Kanu Road, and from time to time the Minister for Finance and I are also working on a couple of other roads for approval to go into that fund. So in the near term, I don't see that money will be a major hurdle, but there still has to be appropriation
Let's go on a quick
to spend
break.
that money.
When we come back, we'll talk about power. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So on the issue of power, I know that there was the Meter Asset Provider Initiative, which tried to help, make meters readily available for people to easily acquire. How has that initiative panned so far? And has it been helpful so far?
Mixed blessings, and I say mixed blessings in the sense that this is a policy. We've had all sorts of policies that haven't quite addressed the issue. We see funding as a big issue in meter supply. The DISCOs are the ones contracted to supply meters, but we think that helping them get to it by policy and decentralizing it would help. There have to be regulations. The regulations were issued, I think, in March this year. People then have to get acquainted with how the regulations will work, how to get licensed, because you still have to work with a DISCO before you can operate in their franchise. So we're seeing some uptake. I know that Abuja DISCO, Yola DISCO, Kano DISCO, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kaduna DISCO have all this thing, and I believe that in the fullness of time that will happen. Again, the story about meters, mixed blessings, I think it was a couple of weeks ago somebody called me and said, oh, they finally brought our meters in Magodo. In some places, they haven't seen their meters, and it's going back. But you see, we're responding.
Right.
Okay, so we read that you gave a directive to NERC, following consumers complaining about the estimated billing. So I would like the detail of that directive. And secondly, we've had DISCOs, especially that Ikeja, because I'm under that Ikeja DISCO. When you complain about the estimated bills, they come and they take power for over a month. There are areas where is there no a measure to curtail those activities?
I think the answers lie in the law, and I think that everybody should read the law. It's a very small piece of legislation, but very, very profound piece of legislation. And the reason for giving that directive, apart from charging people to do more, to respond, was that so that people could also understand what my role as minister is. And because the number of calls I get from people, I don't have meters, that is not the job of government anymore. Okay. Government does not supply meters anymore since the privatization. That is now the job of DISCOs. But government can help by putting policies in place, and that's what we have done. Let private entrepreneurs come and play in that market. And we think, if I may make this point, we think that if you look at the model of the telcos, when they started, they wanted to sell phones with SIM cards. But ultimately, they left that business, and people pulled in.
Which is why.
And we hope that this can ape that.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to talk about private participation, but let me quickly say one thing that our audience have always wondered about the Second Niger Bridge. You've mentioned to us behind camera that it is 47% of the foundation work that has been done, so we won't see anything yet, and that the Eco Bridge is safe regardless of the tankers parked there. Now, privatizing...
And I said, and let me say what I say. You asked me if this Eco Bridge was safe because tankers are parked there. I've been concerned, and I've sought some expert opinion locally, one from Israel, one from the UK, and they're certified that those bridges are designed for dead weight, so dead weight is not a problem. But more importantly, it is to note that some of those bridges have been abused in the past, and I said accidents can happen, but we are doing the best. We're doing bridge maintenance nationwide. So it's not just Third Mainland Bridge. We're working under the Eco Bridge. We're working under Izigboro Bridge in River State. We're working in Tamburawa in Kano, and so on and so on. So just so that citizens can be sure. And it's important to also understand that most of the trucks that are heading to the port are not carrying cargo. Most of them
are empty.
Most of them are empty. A number are carrying empty containers they want to come and submit so that they don't pay demurrage.
Okay.
Then some are carrying cargo for export. But if you do an analysis number by number, it's not fully loaded.
Okay, back to power. So the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has taken you personally to court based on non-disclosure of the powers that be in the power sector right now. They just want, what is the government spending? What are the discos spending? Who are these people that we do not know, that are not named, disclosed? And that's because some people accuse the former government, the Jonathan government, of just, privatizing and giving the discos to friends and allies without them doing their SWOT analysis. And so some of them are even saying, Oga, even if it is 70% of the money I gave to you, I'm not doing it again. Yoshimo, give me back my money. Tell us about this development.
There's something called investigative journalism. And I always challenge our people, go out and find out what the facts are. But, when I see that I have been sued, one time I was sued for not supplying meters, and I said, does anybody check to read the law? It's not my job to supply meters. So why are you suing me? And I think that any court that looks through the law will eventually do what is needful. I didn't do, as a ministry, not as Fashola, the ministry didn't undertake the privatization. If you read your law, you will know that there's a council on privatization. And there's a bureau of public enterprise. Those are the people who have the details and the facts of who bought what.
So those are the
I
people
am not interested in... I've said what I need to say, Jumoke, for the information of the public. I'm not interested in who owns what. Some people have bought it. You know what? Even if they had money and they just kept it under their pillows, they bought an asset. Let's make it work. Right. Let us deliver power. That's what interests me.
Okay, let me...
I would like to know whether... I know this doesn't involve your ministry directly, as you've said, but I know the arrangement is a contract. And the discos are not even trying to, put any form of investment. They've gotten bailouts from the past governments recently.
That they have denied.
I think they get comfortable with bailouts.
Nima, I'm sorry to interrupt you, and please permit me. I think we must be careful. When we speak, we must be very, very factual. And sometimes when I say this, I get accused of defending the discos. Then tomorrow when I say do this, they say I'm fighting them. I think we need to be factual.
Okay, sir.
And the facts are that the discos have invested money. The Gencos have invested money. The system needs more investment.
Right. Yes.
And if you follow some of what we do, in Aba, we went to expand it. Transformers are the lifeblood, really, of distribution of power. Now, we went to expand an injection station for distribution. The transformer was installed, I think, in 1965. At that time, maybe just a few houses. Now, for almost 50 years, no additional investment. Now, you can't catch all of that in 5 years. Now, quickly, let's flip back. In many places where public assets have been sold, British Rail, British Telecom, they were going concerns. They were not decrepit. So this is the difference. Most of what they bought, Egbin, for example, had only 2 turbines out of 6. They've recovered all the 4 turbines. Is working. Kainji, Shiroro, they're still investing to recover all the turbines. We didn't do turnaround maintenance. So let's be factual. Okay. They have invested, it's not enough. Right. They need to do more.
Okay, let me ask about the 6 hydro dams that the federal government was trying to for universities and markets. What is that about and how effective would it be?
6 hydro dams are different. The university project is different and the markets are different. Very simply, we're trying to intervene in universities because we also get these complaints from our children, students, because there's no power in school. And we think that those are small things that we can do. Based on my experience here in Lagos, you can do captive power and quickly get that. So we're intervening in 37, but because they cut the budget last year from 20 to 10 billion, we started with a pilot of 9. Contracts are awarded, contractors have moved to site in a couple of weeks and months. I mean, a couple of months, we should see a few schools get power. Markets, the same thing. And when we meet quarterly with the vice president on his business front, this is a feedback. And we think that those are easy to do, especially because they're in one place. So when manufacturers say they don't have power, I said, there's power. Let's get it to you. So we went into area, we went into Sabon Gari market and Sura market, and we found out that anyway, they were already buying power, small generators, over 3,000 generators. They were paying 10 million naira a day for 4 hours power. And we tried to replace that with one big power plant of 5 megawatt to cover 37,000 shops. Those are some of the most vulnerable people in this country. And we are talking about made in Nigeria, made in Aba. And we can do that. It's going to happen because it's almost finished.
Okay. So, sir, there is a growing conspiracy that there's a cabal that is making sure that we don't have, balanced power in the country.
Is that true?
I don't believe in all those things because I don't see them.
Yeah, I've not seen the evil spirit.
Wait. I think that it's important. I'm a very positive person by nature. But let us understand that even when we have power, I acknowledge that some people will not be happy. Just as some people are not happy when we don't have. But I expect that people will move on. I expect that people will move on.
2,400.
Let's understand. People have talked about generators. And I say, look, every power system is a generator.
Yes, you have explained this several times.
So they will move on. It's adaptability. When the internet came and you could send email, the people who were making fax machines were not happy. But they adapted and they moved on.
Let's go on a break, because I know we're having so many calls, but I had to hang it. I couldn't take those calls. When we go on a break, when we come back, we'll talk a bit about housing, and then we'll take some calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nima had a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Quickly, you spoke for the discos, and I want to know what the result is for us residents under Ikeja Disco that we have so many complaints, because Eco Disco, well done. Now, Yanoba Road, this deep craters developing between Lasu and Vokes, abandoned. I want to know what the status of that road is. And Okoko too, abandoned. Some parts done, some parts not done. And they keep destroying the infrastructure, being done. It seems that contract has been abandoned. What's the issue? Okay,
very quickly on Lagos-Badagry Expressway, it belongs to the federal government. We got approval to build the first 7 kilometers from Rikmo to Mile 2, and then also an approval to build the next 20 kilometers to somewhere around Okoko. The last leg, which is from Okoko to Seme border, will be dealt with later this year. It's part of the 2018 budget. And just for the information of the public, that is part of the Lagos-Abidjan Highway, a collaboration of all the 5 states from Nigeria to Abidjan, Togo, Benin, and Ghana. Nigeria chairs the committee to make that route habitable. So I represent the country there. On the side of the, just to say Okoko, the problem there under that, there's a big NNPC pipeline there. It has to be relocated. That is what is causing the delay.
That's what's delaying us.
Yeah. Then you were asking about
The discos.
discos. I have alluded to it when I explain what the discos and gencos have done to the public. I'm taking their side.
Yeah, so
when I ask the discos to supply meters and to stop estimated
for
billing,
us or against us?
I am for good government and reliable power. When I ask the discos to supply meters and reduce estimated billing, then I'm fighting them. Really and truly, the agency that should do all of this is NERC. That is the referee of the industry, just like NCC does in telecoms and Central Bank in banking and NBC
Let's
in
jump
broadcasting.
into housing. Yes,
So,
So, sir, you have said that tenants should pay in arrears to their landlords. Suggested.
It can only be a suggestion.
That they should pay in arrears. So in those low-cost areas, housing areas, we know that we have less people who are salary earners. Most of the landlords around there are salary earners themselves, which some of them, like myself, have taken loans to build. If they now pay us in arrears, how do we service those loans? That's number one. Number two, we have government-owned houses, government-owned properties that they've built and they're expecting people to buy. In my area, we have flats, 3-bedroom flats going for 16 to 18 million naira.
Lagos Homes?
Lagos Homes, yes. Why can't the government give out those houses to people and let them pay in arrears first? At least you are setting the example before you expect landlords who are using that to, like, another source of income for themselves, collect money in arrears. I don't shop and pay
mixed
in
Lagos
arrears.
and federal, because I know that the federal is.
Am I supposed to answer?
Yes, sir. You are the answer.
Yes, sir.
Let me just summarize.
Just summarize. Let me just
Listen, when we set up Lagos Homes, the whole idea was first a payment in arrears. And the whole idea was that we didn't want you to come and buy a house and pay cash for 16 million or 30 million.
Okay.
It was supposed to be monthly. It was a mortgage system.
Rent to own.
I don't know. And when we saw that people were not sufficiently off-taking, we started a rent-to-own policy. We were working on implementing it when I left office. But the idea of payment in arrears, it's about change also. If we all decide to try it, I am so convinced in my mind that we will heave a huge sigh of relief, because that is something that generally has a knock-on effect on the entire economy. I go and bring 2 million I haven't earned. I'm going to pass it to Nima. Nima is going to pass it to Jumoke, and it's just going to go around until everybody recovers. But it's a moral thing, but it's a good thing that landlords should start thinking about as their own contribution to nation building and patriotism.
How do we service our loans?
Morning, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm there. Good morning, Morayo.
Morning, go ahead, please.
And good morning to the Honorable Minister for Work, Power, Housing.
Good morning to you, sir.
I've been listening so far to your analysis, sir, and I'm quite happy because you are from the legal sector, so you'll be able to address most of these things properly. But the question is this: is it that over past years, we don't have visionary leaders in Nigeria that could trace that most of these things need to be complemented upon, that are now degenerated to this extent before we start working on them? That's my question.
Very true.
I don't know whether you understand me.
He's talking about maintenance culture, that did we have to wait for things to deteriorate to this extent before working on them?
Oh, okay. Look, the story I have heard since when I was a child was that Nigeria has no maintenance culture. I disagree with that story, as sadly as it is true. If you build things, you maintain them. And during my tenure here as governor, we had an office of facility management and maintenance. We're maintaining schools, bridges, public buildings, and it's a culture and an economy that we must really build. So that is the reason why, and it is that belief now that we are taking again into the federal government to say, let's start maintaining things. Hospitals, courtrooms, public buildings. That is also employment.
Yes.
When you train people skills artisans, then you don't give them an economy from which they can earn a living. They will go and drive tricycle.
HOB Bangbade, let's start with praise, says, today you have brought 3 ministers. Babatunde Power, Raji Works, Fashola Housing. This man is great, he's intelligent, smart, and dedicatedly committed to good governance. God bless you, Tunde Fashola. God bless Nigeria. Joseph is complaining, if we have to buy land before accessing NHF loan, the question is, how can we buy one when our salary is not enough? Federal government should build housing towers and sell in units that will be cheaper and reach more people.
You don't have to buy land before you access an NHF loan. Okay. You need to have a property you want to buy, and you need to be a contributor to that pool of funds before you can borrow from it.
So,
and one of the things we've done is that those people who are buying houses that do not exceed 5 million naira, we have removed the requirement that they should deposit 10% of the equity. So it's a zero equity. We've taken that out. President Buhari has approved that for us. And we are just trying to make it easy for people.
So under the Federal Housing Authority arrangement, whose duty is it to maintain the existing low-cost houses under the FHA?
It depends on who built, really and truly. Most of the houses were probably built by the Federal Housing Authority, but there are other agencies that have built over the years. There are some that have been built by the ministry directly.
Okay.
So, and also the owners have a responsibility to maintain their assets.
But the roads...
I have Michael Obeta here saying, please, Minister, when are you paying contractors that have completed their projects over months ago? They need to pay their debts.
We're paying contractors.
Already?
Yes, we're paying contractors. We haven't received the first quarter payments for 2018 budget, but all of the disbursements that we got, we paid contractors, and contractors will tell you for every 9 in 10 that this is a better payment regime than 3-4 years ago.
One more person, Koti Prayer says, Honorable Minister, sir, what has happened to Abuja, Lokoja, Okene, Auchi, Benin Road? That's one of the nightmares of traveling.
We have contractors. We have contractors there working under the Sukuk Fund now. I don't know when last that person traveled the road, but we're working there.
My cousins are traveling home, I'll confirm. Andre Boka says, Asaba Housing Estate is a FMBN mortgage project. There is massive corruption here as government property is now being sold by private individuals, and FMBN and the PMI is doing nothing. Erosion is now invading us because of the project is abandoned.
Well, I need to, I haven't even been to that estate before, and I can't be to all estates. If there's a problem, write to us in the ministry, we'll check. And those are some of the things that have happened before that perhaps shouldn't have happened. Federal Mortgage Bank, whose core business is financing houses, is now building houses. When Federal Housing Authority, whose core business is building houses, is now setting up a financing. So those are things that we have changed since we came. Everybody face your core business, and let's get this show on.
Unfortunately, we have to round up. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you.
We'll need to have you back before the end of the year.
Be honest, because there are 3 ministries.
If you give me RAM, I will come back. I'm looking for my own RAM now.
You can't exhaust the conversation, honestly, but definitely we have to bring you back again to know what's happening. But so far...
You also have to extend the program, so you have to ask for special dispensation.
All right, hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did. And don't forget, we always tell you, please try not to use unbranded oil. It's very, very dangerous to your health. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.